Start the podcast? Yes? Yes? She just wants my undivided attention. Hey? Don't you, Louie? Just 24/7. That's all she wants is my attention. She doesn't, like, nothing specific. It's not like she really wants to play the whole time. She just wants my attention. Just look at me. Just be around me. If you're doing something, let me be involved. That's her fucking 100% of the time attitude, and I love that. I feel like that's the best part about owning a dog. Anyway, my name is Jake Kerr. This is a Black Ink podcast. This is episode number 61. I want to thank you for joining me today. It's a beautiful day, and for some reason, I just can't get in the fucking rhythm. You know, you ever have one of those days where you just, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, I feel like there's a certain amount of things that you got to do with your day to kind of help you, help you get the best possible chance at having a brilliant day. Because that's what we're trying to do, right? Is everyone trying to have brilliant days? I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to go for something that's impossible. I don't know. But, I feel like, not letting yourself snooze your alarm is like the first thing you can do to help yourself, right? The second thing you can do is like, go and drink water. Go and take a piss. You know what I mean? Do what your body needs you to do. Don't worry about how you feel. Don't worry about what you've got to do today. Just give yourself the best, literal, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just sit down. Just give yourself, the best physical advantage you can. And, obviously, come on, sit down, Lou. Obviously, you lose heaps of moisture while you sleep because you're busy fucking mouth breathing and having dreams. So drinking that water kind of lets you have that first thing of right, I've given you back, I've replenished, I've given you what you need. Maybe we put some rock salt in there with some lemon, so you're getting all those minerals as well. And then following that, it's getting down to whatever you've got to do. And for me, I'm in a weird situation. I appreciate that because obviously my work demands me pretty much from the moment I wake up, given that I'm trying to get people's attention when they wake up. So I need to be awake before them. I need to have all that engagement in the bank, and then I need to post something ready for people to, see first thing on their newsfeed when they wake up. And it's actually interesting. The whole algorithm thing is so wild. Understanding the best way to get your post seen and obviously communicate the message that you're trying to communicate, and at the same time build your own community. It's such a, you think that there's ways around it and there's ways that you can kind of trick the system. There isn't. At the end of the day, you get really good results when you do authentic, organic engagement and you post shit within the app. You know what I mean? Because there are things where you can, I think it's called Facebook Suite, where you can actually schedule posts for tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock and all the rest. But there's something about engaging physically and going through and commenting and liking on people's photos and asking people questions and going on your search page and going into friends of friends and liking their shit and going into geotags, going into hashtags, doing all of that and actually putting in the work, going so far that every morning I give myself the challenge to do so many comments on so many different posts that Instagram actually gives you a ban for 30 minutes because you've done too many of the same actions at once. And it's not like I'm just posting, it's not like I just comment emojis. Sometimes I do, probably 1 out of every 6 or 7 is just 3 emojis. It's just I'm fuck, I don't know what to say, But otherwise I'm asking questions or saying what I like about the post or, thanking them for sharing or, whatever it might be. I try not to be too negative with any of my comments unless they're fucking asking for it. Then I can't help myself, Who am I not to do it? You got to think, if, say, you're scrolling along and you see some celebrity's fucking account and obviously the people who you follow and people who have massive followings are going to be the comments that you see first. So you might see 2 comments with a blue tick and then you see Black Ink's comment and I'm taking the piss out of them. It's I'm more doing that for your experience than I am the celebrity. And also, when I say taking the piss out of a celebrity, I don't mean attacking them in a malicious way. It's more just going isn't no one else spotting the elephant in the room sort of thing, or just just a sly comment sort of thing. More so because the celebrity's not going to see it, and there's also a whole sea of people out there that only read the when there's over 1,000 comments. For some reason, there's a community of people that just love reading comments. So they'll go in there, they'll fucking scroll down till they find something funny. They'll go to your comment, they go to your page. That's a literal thing that happens. There's actually one page. This is super interesting because this is obviously as I do this every day, I get this continuous thing where I'm not just doing the same thing every day. I always change it a little bit and I'm trying to, I'm always reviewing my analytics so I can see what I do is rendering the best result as far as actually speaking to potentially new customers. That's what it all comes down to. The thing with, so there's this one page, they're a Russian page and they post every video to the same music. It's just this same shitty, like, I could tell you what the song is, and like if I heard it, it would start giving me a nightmare because I've literally heard it so many times. But what they do is they make these reels that are like 25 seconds long, and they always have something to do with like love or a relationship or something like that. It's always like, you know, a couple will be walking along holding hands, and then like another guy might come up behind them, and like as she lets go of her partner's hand, he like grabs her hand, and then she looks across, and then the video just ends. It's like, it's so pointless. It's so dumb. All of these fucking videos are so dumb. Like, there's this other one where there's this ledge, right? And then after the ledge, there's a massive drop off, probably like 1.5 meters, not massive, but like if you walk off it, you'd be fucked, right? And there's this dude walking on top of the ledge, and he has glasses on, and he's holding one of the side assist canes that you see people who have limited sight, they use. And he's doing that and walking towards the edge, and this couple walking towards the camera, who like the couple is obviously at a lower level than the people on than the dude on the ledge. They're like looking up, going like, "Oh my god, this guy who's blind is going to walk off this ledge and hurt himself." And then right at the last second, and it goes into slow motion, he does a front flip off there because obviously he can like see, and he did it. And then like as he lands a front flip, he puts up his glasses and then looks at them and is like, "What?" and then walks off. So it's like all these things that are obviously set up. They're obviously staged and scripted, and they're all to the same song, and they all get millions and millions of views. It's such an awesome thing to see. This is the thing, like you got to think. It takes participation for that to happen. Remember that egg on Instagram that everybody just started following for a reason? What the fuck is going on? Like, to me, that like the biggest question there is like, who's behind the egg? How did you do this? What strategy did you use? Or did you purely just get lucky? You know? And like, this is the thing. People like to think that these things that happen on the internet are just luck. You know, like Justin Bieber was just luck. Like 6ix9ine was just luck. Deantwood was just luck. All these like, and like, man, this is a thing like that. I know there's heaps of internet people that like I literally, and not that I haven't heard of, but I wouldn't even believe the industry that they exist in. You know what I mean? That's how vast the internet is. But the thing about the internet is that, I mean, basically because it is so vast and there is so much of an audience, there is an audience for everything, and that's how these people are generated. I fucking thrown my thought. But yeah, it's bullshit to think that page with all these random fucking videos to the same music, that they became something that now I go on there and post. Like, this is the thing, you got to appreciate that this page that has like, I'm going to guess hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, they are based on the idea of cringy videos that don't make sense. So for me to go on there and comment something that is wildly absurd, it literally doesn't affect them at all. All it's doing, and this is really important, this is super important, all it is doing is getting more engagement. Because if someone comes along that has nothing to do with their community, the only relationship they have is I follow them, they don't follow me, and then I put a comment on there, and then that starts an argument, that's the best thing that can possibly happen for that page. Even if it's talking shit about the page. That's the point. Half the time when I put things up on, like, when I put a comment up that is going to cause, like, you know, I'll ask a silly question, or sometimes I'll ask a serious question, and then two people will actually just keep on engaging. That's awesome for the page. That's brilliant. And there is a certain point that, like, I mean, I would love to have access to people who know how to, like, record videos and edit them properly and make fun little skits for BLXCK INK. Like, that's literally one of the funnest things I can imagine, is just like having a situation where we can sit down and plan something funny and then go out and then group of friends kind of record it and then come back, edit something really cool and then chuck it up on social media. Like, if I had the access to... The fuck? Thought I heard someone... Yeah, someone is fucking outside. Dude, this is the worst, because if people are like just over the fence, if they're getting in and out of their car, it's the same sound as someone getting in and out of their car at the front door. So, anyway, it's not important. But these guys, like, if I made videos, I would try and make videos that would cause some sort of conflicts, because I know that's going to get the most engagement. And the thing with, like, at this point for BLXCK INK to have a viral video, the important part of it being viral is simply that the BLXCK INK name gets seen by a lot of people. The content that it takes to get there is really irrelevant. You know what I mean? I mean, the only time it becomes important is you don't want to be remembered as the brand that XYZ, whatever was in that video that wasn't perhaps the best thing. Maybe it was a bit politically incorrect or whatever it might be. You don't want to be known as the brand associated to that. But outside of those parameters, it doesn't really matter how you get there. Like, if you get a viral video from someone doing a bird out on a Harley or a fucking cute dog video, who gives a fuck? As long as you've got 1 million people that saw Black Ink at least once. That's all we need. At this point, that's all we need. And that's how they see it. And now they're at a point where, majority of their videos are going viral. This, cringe page that I'm talking about. Majority of their videos are going viral. So now they're just at a point where, like, how can we make videos that don't make any sense, that people can comment on them and make ridiculous statements, and that can cause, you know what I mean? It's actually a really difficult question to answer, but these guys keep answering it really well and generated such a following. The point that I'm making is, I put comments on there like, oh my God, can no one see what is illegal here? And my comment gets thousands of likes. Like, it's happened more than once now where, like, there'll be fucking dozens of like comments on there. People just calling me an idiot. Heaps of people get the joke. Heaps of people go through all of the fucking videos that they post and see all of my comments and comment on all of them. Like, I'll notice that. And now it's at a point where, like, I don't even comment much on these videos anymore, but because I've done it probably a dozen times, maybe 24 times, every day, I have my fucking notifications filled full of people talking about just I don't even know what they're talking about. Sometimes they're in other languages. Like, what have I got myself involved in? You know what I mean? I don't even know how the fuck I got on this tangent. I was talking about how to have the best possible day and how the fuck I ended up in such a shitty mood. So, because I do all this bloody... I wake up first thing in the morning, and because I get I know that I have to get straight to work, because if I don't, then essentially I'm gonna say you listening, get out of bed at 6:30. I need to be already operational at like 3:30 so that I've done my engaging with like 150 accounts and had time to post whatever I'm going to post. Because you don't realize, like, I set aside like probably 20 minutes to post like maybe a carousel, and I'll need like probably 45 minutes to make a reel, only because I've got really good at making reels. Well, in my like eyes of how I think, or what I think is the best possible reel that I can make. I think I'm very close at all the time. Like, I learn something, I adapt straight away, I apply it. I look at other reels and see how they're really effective, and I apply it to my reels. And like, I think the interesting part about my reels as well as at the moment is they actually are tending to have these little runaways. So even sometimes it's reflected in the likes and sometimes even in the comments. But it's interesting, like the reel that I posted yesterday had like, hey brother, had like 200 views on it until like, it had fuck all views when I went to sleep last night. And then I woke up this morning and it's at 2,500. And then I look at all the likes, and the people who are liking it, people that like, I have no idea who they are. They don't follow me. So that means it's like dropped into the algorithm for like 10, 15 minutes or been thrown out to a bunch of accounts, however it works. So now I'm starting to realize that whatever I'm doing, it's not just keeping my community entertained, it's keeping other people entertained. And even if they're not liking it, they're watching it. They're watching it through, sort of thing. So I set aside 45 minutes, and normally like I've put together the idea of what's going to happen. I have the music, the clips and everything sorted within like 15 minutes. But then to really hone it in and trim all those clips just right, or adjust the music, or sometimes you have to like I realized with that cup video the other day that the pouring the water needed to be sped up. So if you look at the water being poured in that video, it's actually quite fast. And I think I made it take half the time that it took on the original video. So I actually had to go into my video editing software on my fucking phone, the app, and then get that clip, speed it up. And then Instagram doesn't just let you import a video and then put it in whatever place you want. You have to delete all the clips, including that one. So I think that was like the 3rd clip. So I had to delete the 7 clips afterwards, put that clip back in, put all those other clips back in, music match everything, watch the whole thing through. And then once you've done all that, you picked your filter and you're at your end page, this is the thing, like the caption, tagging people and tagging products, adding a location, cropping the picture so that it looks right on your homepage. Like, dude, that's fucking 10 minutes in itself. And I know you go like, oh, 10 minutes. It's fucking 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, and if I'm trying to get that post out at 5 and I'm looking at the clock and it's like 4:20, I'm like, I literally have to get started right now on that post, because it's going to be a reel, it's going to be this. So, and like literally every time I'm posting at 5 past 5 because I've gone over that amount of time. So I don't know. You think by getting better at it, you eventually would, you'd speed up the whole process. But I'm just finding that now that I understand the process better, I'm just getting more finicky with it. So I'll probably spend a bit longer in this stage and then end up obviously being able to shave time off because you're just like, I know exactly what I'm looking for. Even now, like little things I realize once you figure out the beat of a song, and like this sounds really obvious now you say it, once you figure out the beat of a song with one clip, how long that is, you can literally just add your clips. Like this is all I do is I add my clip in and then I cut out the fat so I get the cool part of what's ever happening, and then I just make it the same time size as whatever the first one was. So say it's like a second 58, you make this one a second 58. And then the next one a second 58, then the next one a second 58, and then you preview it after you've done like 3 or 4, and you can see if it's on the beat, and if it is on the beat, game over, brother. You just got to fucking tidy it up and make a caption and post. Anyway, because I get up so early and I got to get to work, I don't really have, when I wake up, as I said, like I hydrate, I drink some water, I have some minerals, I pray, which if you're a fucking regular of the show, you're very aware of this. It's, I repeat to myself and the greater power what the fuck I'm, destined to do, what my purpose is, what I'm trying to achieve and how I'm going to achieve it, what I'm worried about today. If I've got any concerns, I fucking cover them. You know what I mean? It's like a business meeting. It's nice. I leave it feeling like, right, I know what I got to do. And then, yeah, pretty much like if I can have, I think like this morning, I had all my work done. I had to like post the podcast from yesterday, which is already edited. So it was just a matter of just like coming up with a caption and that. And then I've been getting into reading a fair bit lately, or more so I've just been, by the way, this is talking about how I'm disappointed this wasn't a brilliant day because I gave myself the best start I could. I'm not just off on a fucking wild tangent, but I think I feel guilty more than anything that I've not been reading lately. And it's only because the medium in which I'm learning the information is such a unique like form. Like there's nothing else that replicates reading. And you can kid yourself and say like, oh yeah, I read shit on Instagram all day. But the reality is like, there is nothing that replaces reading. And also just to give something that attention for that amount of time. Like, and like I try not to go like, oh, I'm going to read one chapter or I'm going to read for 15 minutes. I just want to read until I'm like, cool, I feel like I've got enough information. We'll move on. And it's funny though, because I remember when I was reading heaps before, I got into it. And I remember like even saying to my mum, I'm like, this is crazy how much I enjoy reading and how much I look forward to it. And it's funny, like even now, even though I've only just found it again, I'm like this morning I was doing my work quickly so that I could make a coffee and go walk, because I love to walk around while I read. I can go walk around and drink a coffee and read my book. And yeah, even this morning, I read for a good amount of time. I got in like a chapter and a half. I was super happy and even spent time kind of reflecting about what I read and like really let it sink in. I came in, had some breakfast, and look, I'll be honest, I've been feeling fucking pretty fat lately. And I know, we've talked about this on the podcast before, I know what I look like to other people, I know people look at me and go like, oh, he's not fat. That's cool, man. I just like, I don't want to sound, I'm just going to be real about it. Like I have a good relationship with myself. I understand what I'm trying to achieve. I understand, like, I feel like I'm on my way to learning like all of my faults and all of the things that I think aren't the best possible versions of themselves within me. And also, like, I'm aware, I'm sensible, I'm conscious, I'm responsive to how other people are treating me. So I feel like in that, it's, just being a fucking person, you shouldn't be embarrassed to say that you feel fat. But I feel like we live in such a fucking muddled world now that so many people are saying so many different things to get all these, people's attention for all these different reasons. And, you want to be honest about something like that. And like the first thing that people are going to go is like, oh no, you're not fat. And it's like, I'm not looking for a fucking compliment. I'm just stating something. And I guess even that, stating it out loud as you're giving a message to the world. I guess you're affirming it with yourself as well. And to a certain point, you kind of are asking for a response. I guess if I truly felt that way, I could just think it and do something about it. But also, I'm on a podcast and being verbal, so here we are. But I definitely, obviously, with, I had a history as being an athlete. I'm very aware of my body. And this has been something that's kind of been creeping up. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at myself like, oh, dude, you're fat. Like, you got a tummy on you. And I think it's one of those things where like I'm not like sad about it, and I'm not even like, there's no part of me that's like overwhelmed or anything. It's more just a point where it's like, fuck man, your timing's off. You know, coming into summer, you could have not been fat. You know, you didn't have to be fat. And I asked myself, like, how did I kind of get here? Dude, living in a house, I'm so comfortable, it's unreal. Like at night, like of course you eat food, you're sitting on the couch you're eating fucking this, you know, you have an ice cream, you're like, I'll have some cake. You know, if there's any licorice, I guess I'll have some of that. And like I haven't had dessert yet, so we'll have half a block of chocolate each. Obviously I don't do that, but you know, I'm not far off that, is what I'm trying to say. So I think just living in a house and just having that, like, even having the temperature controlled is such a massive thing. Like in the caravan, you think because it's a small space that it's easy to control the temperature. Dude, it's a fucking nightmare. It's either like way too hot or way too cold. There's no happy medium. And like you seem to think there's a happy medium, and then half an hour later, you're just covered in sweat. So it's just like, yeah, it was weird. And also, I think I've got comfortable in this running a business thing. It's there's definitely a sense of like I still feel lost. I still feel like I'm just I think Elon Musk said floating into the abyss and eating glass is what the experience of starting a company is. And if starting a business is a fraction of that, then that statement makes perfect sense. Because I feel like, you know, there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. But when you do anything enough, it becomes the norm, right? And now I feel like the norm of waking up and having like really understanding what the freedom of just like, you know what, dude, you can do nothing today, or you can put in the best day of this month today. The choice is up to you. And your results are direct, like, how do I say this? What you end up with is a direct result of the effort and energy that you put into it. Like if you see everything through, that has a fucking really big effect at the end of the day. And taking that on board and like really taking responsibility of like the success of Black Ink and understanding like, okay, this can be a failure, this can be mediocre, or this can be hugely successful. And just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just comfortable in my own skin as far as like, you know, before people used to say like, oh, what do you do? I'd be like, I own this business, and it's like, I sell clothes and I do like graphic design, I do web design and stuff. And now it's just like, oh, I own Black Ink, it's a clothing brand. You know, like that's what I do. And I think even before, when Black Ink was a coffee van and people would wear Black Ink clothes, like I feel like I'm probably just about at the same level. Like I got sent a picture yesterday from someone saying like, oh, I saw a Black Ink sticker on a car out in the wild in Perth. Like he was just riding his motorbike. He sent me a picture of a car in front of him, had a Black Ink sticker. I didn't like this dude, like I know, but I only know him because I met him a couple of times and we follow each other on Instagram. And then the car it was on, I have no idea who that was, you know? And like that's the sort of level that I reached when I had Black Ink before. Like it was at that point where people would walk past me in the street wearing Black Ink. I had that happen twice. I had no idea who they were. They didn't know who I was. And it was like, man, how do you not know who I am? Like literally that was back in the day where you had to come buy the shit off me. I didn't really advertise it on Instagram. It was all just word of mouth shit. So having someone walk past me wearing it and not say hello is like, hey bro, you look cool, you know? That's sick. Keep on walking. Obviously, you don't want everyone to say hello. Like, that's something that you think you do, but when it actually starts happening, you're like, fuck, man, don't say hello sometimes, you know? If it's Saturday morning and I'm with my chick and we're going to get breakfast, just fucking say good morning, you know? That's it. We're not having a conversation. It's all good. Not being rude, but we're not having a conversation, you know, because I'm going to get breakfast. And what are we going to talk about that we can't just talk about on Instagram? But, you know, always stop and say hello if you saw me sort of thing. But yeah, I feel like now we're at the point where there's as much Black Ink in the wild as there was back then. So now, yeah. Well, how the fuck did I get here? That was my point, that there's as much Black Ink now being worn there was back then. No idea. But the point I was making is that because I feel like I've been, gaining some weight, if you will, is I did exercise today. I did proper exercise. And this is the thing. I ride my push bike. I do this, I do that. You know, like I do a lot of stretching, which is an exercise. I understand that. But even riding my bike, doing those hill sprints and stuff, like I feel like shit's so easy that it's not really exercise. And I know what that sounds like as well. But to be absolutely fair, I know what's exercise, I know what isn't. And today, those hills that I was talking about that I ride up in that episode a while ago, I ran up those hills. So the Church Hill in Bunbury, I ran up it 5 times, and then the stairs, I think I did 3 times. But the stairs is fucked, because the first time I did the stairs, I did all the stairs, like, you know, the Marston Hill stairs at the bottom of the lookout. And the lookout has like another, well, I don't even know. It would have to be 100 and something stairs in it, a big spiral staircase. So the first time I did it, I went up every step, and I was doing like push-ups in the middle of the Marston stairs, and then did the whole lookout as well. And I got to the top, and I was like, wow, I haven't felt like this in years. You know, where you just like, in all honesty, I think a lot of people don't push themselves that hard. Like, even after running up the Churchill 5 times, like, I was treating that as a warm-up. And also, you return into doing anything athletic after having fucking 8 months off. A warm-up shouldn't be running up the biggest hill in town 5 times. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of knew. And I was even doing dumb shit. Like, as I was running up there, I was keeping my mouth closed, so I had to breathe through my nose. And man, that shit is fucked. Like, that's so hard. Just breathing through your nose doing hill runs. And like, by the last one, I couldn't do it. So that should have been like an indication of like, hey man, like, you're so fucking warm right now. This is not a warm up. You are exercising, you know? So I got in my car, drove to the thing, and then I was like, right, this is the workout. Let's not be a bitch. And I mean like bitch in a derogatory way, in like an offensive way. I'm not like, I'm joking. It was a joke. So I was like, you know, don't be slack. So I fucking run up every step, and like every step is hard because you actually have to be there. You have to be paying attention, and you get to that point where you've like exercised so much that like your kind of fine judgment is starting to wear off a bit. So you're just like aiming your foot in that general direction, and that's where it lands. So the little steps is like pitter 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 pitter, and also being a massive human and the steps are this big, it's almost like a balance game more than anything. I get to the top of the fucking stair, the what do you call it, the lookout, and I'm just like, holy fuck. Like, I'm like, you kind of have a feeling where you like, you want to spew and you want to cry, and you can hear your heartbeat in your ears, and it's just like everything is fucking crazy. Like, it was one of those things where like my pockets are like wrecked on these shorts. They're meant to have the zip pockets, and you know, phones these days are like fucking this big, so I had to carry it the whole time. And all I could think was like, put your phone on the ground, because if you black out holding your phone, there's a chance you'll drop it over the edge and then it will break, you know? So I've like, that's where I was at in my head. So I'm like, well, I'm that close to being, you know, blacked out. So I'll walk around, make sure I got blood flow, and then I'll fucking move on. So I walked around, did like 3 laps, and I'm just like, right, I want to get closer to the ground, because just, I don't know, something about being up the lookout tower in that condition. I think because when we skated, we did heaps of runs up that lookout tower, and just I feel like even when I've gone up there just casually, I always look out and I'm just like, oh, I hate this view, you know. And Bunbury's fucking beautiful, but I think because I've seen it so many times in so much pain, I'm like, fuck this view, you know. So I go down to the bottom and I like really just let myself recover. Then I go the bottom of the lookout, then I go right down to the bottom of the stairs, and I'm like, not resting heart rate, but somewhere in that range. And I go, right, I'm going to do every second step, push-ups in the middle, every second step, and not do the lookout tower, just to the top of the stairs. So I did that, you know, 2 steps, push-ups, 2 steps, and got to the top, and I was like, oh, wow, now I feel like it was more like my body couldn't exchange enough carbon dioxide for oxygen in my lungs. Like, it felt like my body was anticipating more oxygen with every breath. And look, that could come from years of smoking. I have no idea. That could be something that I'm just coming up with in my head because I have that prerequisite knowledge that I have smoked for years, and I think that when I was a kid I actually had heaps more healthier lungs because I could do greater things. But this is the thing, like, everything is based off like memories, and memories are just memories of memories. So, I mean, every time you make a memory of something, it's losing information. So I like to think that like that's just your body going through whatever it's going through, because obviously you're massively oxygen deficient because you've just done all that exercise, and you know, obviously everything is uphill. So everything is essentially just like a pushing exercise. You know what I mean? It's not even just cardio. Like I've done like body weight exercises to the kind of, you know, not nth degree, but like, you know, I've used my body weight to, you know, propel that much energy out of my muscles. And I think, like, I definitely wanted to give up after the first set of the Marston Hill stairs. After the second one, I was like, this is fucked. There's no way I'm doing another one. This is terrible. You know, like, it took me so long to catch my breath. I had to like put my phone down when I got to the top, and like most of the time I just put my hands on my head because we had to do that at skating. We were never allowed to put our hands on our knees, had to be hands on our head. So I always walk out with my hands on my head, but I was like bent over, hands on my knees, and then like put my hand on the guardrail and like waiting for the spew to come. It was terrible. I was having a terrible time. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'd like, you know, when you start questioning, like, dude, I'm not even that fat, you know, like everyone's right. I just need to fucking eat more, you know, this is wrong. But then you realize that that's the voice of, you know, fat you talking. So I went down the bottom, and the third time I was like, right, I'm going to do every third step, and then the fourth one I'll do every second step, and then the fifth one I'll do every one step. So I did that, didn't go the whole way to the top of the lighthouse again, just went to the top of the stairs, and it was worse again. So I'm like, I'm fucking going home, you know? At this point, I'm not even building character, I'm just destroying the rest of it. Dude, that's probably why I'm not having a good time. I probably expelled so much energy, because all I did when I came home was pretty much like, finished the rest of my water, had a little bite to eat, and then laid down and literally just watched The Office on Netflix for like 15 minutes. And then I was like, hey, what the fuck am I doing? You know? So, and then had a shower. And then I was like, right, let's fucking kick into high gear for this podcast. And then just all of a sudden, everything started to turn to shit. Dude, that's what it is. I just went way too hard and I hurt myself. See, this is the thing, man. When I got to the top of the lighthouse, like I was ready to cry and spew, and I still did more. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, like, isn't there something to someone who has been an athlete at a young age and has that knowledge that, like, even though everything sucks right now, because that's the thing, when you're in that position, you've done that to yourself. There's no button to get out of feeling that, you know what I mean? You just got to wait until it eventually dies down. And it's not like heaps goes well with every breath. Every breath, it only fixes it a little bit. It takes minutes to get better, and time seems to drag on forever. And my water bottle's far away, and it's like, I got to my water bottle and did it again. There's something about that just like, right, get back to work. Get back to work. You feel like shit? That's all good. Get back to work. Not being mean, but we got a job. Let's do it. You know? But consequently, when your body's not used to it, I guess this is what happens. Sorry, guys. This has been like a fucking therapy session for me today. I feel like I've said about 150 times. I feel like I'm literally like figuring things out as I speak to you. I did have, and just super sensitive to heat, you know? Like, that's the thing. Like, I had to run the aircon in here for like 10 minutes before I got started because I was sweaty, I was uncomfortable. I'm wearing sandals, you know? It's weird. It's fucking weird. But I would like to know, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are sensitive to heat. And like, I'm super sensitive to just shit touching me in general. And I think it's not even that heat worries me too much. It's the idea of like my clothes touching me in the way they do when I'm too hot. Like, that's like the technical breakdown of why I'm uncomfortable in the heat. But the reality is, like, obviously you can just simplify that and say that I'm like, you know, reactive to heat, I guess. But, you know, maybe I'm just in the middle of a perfect storm. It's a little bit warm in here. I overexerted myself. And also, it's funny, you know, as I was speaking about the other day, I've been putting a lot of effort into my planning lately and making sure that I'm getting the most out of my day. And the thing that I said to myself at the beginning of the week was I was going to give myself Wednesday off social media, and then Saturday I was going to do a morning instead. So I kind of, instead of having 2 mornings off in a row, which is really bad for the algorithm, instead I'll give myself Wednesday and Sunday off, because I never can work on Sunday for obvious reasons. And obvious reasons being like, it's the fucking 7th day of the week. Like, you just got to be sensible. You have to stop. Like, I've fought this my whole life. You know, these fucking massive companies that employ 80% of Australia, they pretty much try and absolutely breeze past it with these like 2-in-1 rosters and 2-in-2 rosters and shit. But you get the most out of the human experience by resting on the 7th day. Like, it's just that simple. All big, like, and even the package that I'm subscribed to at the moment for the for this particular like way of planning that I do, like, even that, it only has 6 days in the diary, because the 7th day, quite simply, if you're planning shit on that day, you're already too invested in not recovering. Essentially, like, that day should just be for like fulfillment for you spiritually, for your family, for your love, for obviously for your body if you've like been worn down from the previous week. So having this like planned out kind of approach to my days, the fuck was the point that I was making? I'm having a terrible morning. Dude, I'm fucking overtired. I'm sorry. It's that simple. I'm just overtired. I thought throwing a third coffee into the mix would help me. It didn't. That's all good. I tell you what, I go and pick up my jerseys today. Now, what does this mean? The people who pre-ordered their jersey from a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was, obviously they're going to be posted out tomorrow morning, which is super exciting. I also have 2 brand new jerseys. If you remember, I had that carousel of 9 different options months and months ago. As I went to put in the order for these other jerseys when I did a couple of weeks ago, I thought, well, this is the time to fucking make some samples. So I've got they're 2 bright colored jerseys, and they're going to be released. Not released, they're going to be kind of shown off in a couple of stories in the next couple of days. I'm super excited about those. I feel like one of them is going to really pop off for summer. So make sure if you're into those jerseys, you keep an eye out for those. But look, I'm going to be honest. I did an hour-long podcast yesterday. As you can tell, I'm having a fucking terrible time today. If you lasted this long, thank you for listening. If you didn't, I'm sorry. You're not even going to hear this anyway. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good to your mum, because I'm fucking out. You.